Liverpool 4, Lask 0. And as much as it kills me to say this, Liverpool were incredible tonight. I know it's only Lask, but if you win a game 4-0, and no game is easy in football, it shows there was some real quality on display. And one guy that stood out to me is Quansah. I've only watched him a couple times before, but he really did look like Van Dijk 2.0. He was so calm. He was so composed. I did a whole video praising Cody the other day as a Man United fan and how he looks so mature on the ball for only 18 years of age. And Quansah is in that category, a player that is so young, so inexperienced, but looks so much more composed. He looked a lot better than Konate today, and he looks like an absolute player. And Quansah, Harvey Elliott, and Gakpo were my three standout players. I also thought Luis Diaz had a really good first half. I thought Endo was really good. I think there was no one that really put in a bad performance for Liverpool, but I think Quansah, Gakpo, and Harvey Elliott were the standout players for me. So let's dive into the performance. Let's talk about the game. And I think Liverpool are going to stroll through this Europa League. I think they're going to win it, unfortunately. I really do, because they are the best team in the competition. I mean, if Man United drop down, no, we're not going to beat you. We'll lose 7-0 at Anfield again, probably. But I saw this. Jarrel Quansah completed the most passes for Liverpool again against Lask, which was 60. He has completed the most passes on the pitch in each of his last 4 starts for the club now. So composed and mature for his age. Another really impressive performance. And it did feel like watching Van Dijk 2.0. I'm not super familiar with this Quansah guy. I know that he's only had 21 senior starts in his career and 15 of them came in League One. But he looked composed. He looked comfortable. Really, really solid, and he floated on the pitch a little bit like Van Dijk. I can see why people call him Van Dijk 2.0, because he has that sort of comfortability and confidence on the ball. It felt like he looked so at ease on the ball. It looked good on the ball. He was recovering the ball. He was tackling well. He looks technically quite solid as well. So I think, in terms of Liverpool 2.0, Liverpool rebuild, the Liverpool future, this guy could be particularly exciting. Sometimes you see a young player, and I'm doing this with Cody at United, and you go, he's got it. And I think with Quansah, from the 3 games I've watched of him, which is very small, I've not watched him in pre-season or anything like that. I don't know if he played in pre-season, but he's definitely got something about him, and his calmness and confidence for his age says a lot. And I thought he was absolutely phenomenal today. And I can see why Liverpool fans have been kind of hyping this guy up and raving about him, because he looks like a solid player. He was definitely the best centre-back at the back today. And another player that Liverpool fans don't hype up as much, and a player that gets a lot of stick, was Harvey Elliott. But I actually thought Harvey Elliott had a really good game. I think Gravenberch and Harvey Elliott as the 8s worked. And I think Enzo being a natural 6 gave Gravenberch and Harvey Elliott a bit more license as the 8. But Harvey Elliott was that standout midfielder, created 3 chances, 1 big chance, 3 out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 out of 1 dribble, 2 out of 3 ground drills. And I think this was all in the first half. He looked very comfortable. I have to say, Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, they're 2 players that gets a bit of stick. I think Harvey Elliott is the better of the 2. I thought Harvey Elliott looked a lot better than Curtis Jones today. And I thought Harvey Elliott's not really had that rhythm or that run of games. I think maybe he's a bit of a confidence player, but he had that license, he had that start to really kick on. And I think when you're Liverpool and you've got Gravenberch, you've got Szoboszlai, you've got Harvey Elliott, you've got a multitude of good players that want to fill those 2 8 roles. McAllister's probably naturally an 8 as well, or more of a dual pivot guy. I think, you've got strong competition there. And I think that is what I'm probably most jealous of as a rival fan, is actually like Liverpool do have quite a good depth in numbers. I always talk about their attack. There's fans online fighting over who should start, Núñez or Gakpo, but that's quite a good position to be in. You look at your goal contributions, 18 from Salah, 13 from Núñez, 8 from Jota, 7 from Gakpo, 6 from Diaz. They've got 5 consistent players that are attacking, that are contributing as well. And the thing about Diaz and Gakpo and Jota is they can all play on the left. Gakpo could play on the right, he could play in the middle. And I see a lot of Liverpool fans squabbling over who should play Núñez or Gakpo, but you could play them both. But Diaz has been incredible on the left. I think Diaz, Núñez, Salah seems to be the best front 3. But if Gakpo is your sub, then you're in a good position. If Jota's in your sub, you're in a good position. And I think that's the one thing that Liverpool have that I think probably as a rival actually makes me the most jealous, is they've actually started to get that depth and that young depth. Like Gravenberch could be on the bench, and he's a player that obviously I wanted Man United to bring in as well. But we have to talk about Cody Gakpo. I think Cody Gakpo probably is man of the match tonight. It was between him, Elliott, and probably Quansah. I also thought Endo was really good. I thought what's the goalkeeper called? Kelleher. I thought Kelleher looked good, but as you can see by Gakpo's game numbers, he got 2 goals, created 2 chances, won the penalty, 7 passes into the final third, 6 out of 9 duels won. I don't think Cody Gakpo could have done any more. And Cody Gakpo is obviously a very good player, had insane numbers at PSV. He's gone to Liverpool, he's been okay, but he's not hit that PSV numbers, but who would? But he's always pretty solid. I think he's quite an underrated player, and I think he's a guy that can play anywhere across the front three. And I think Gakpo was really, really impressive today, and it felt like, what can't he do? Again, he was just doing everything, contributing, whether it was in play with the goals, and I think he led the front line really, really well. And I think that he's a very good footballer. He's played in midfield, he's played up front, he's played out wide, and he linked up with the midfield really well today. He has a really nice interplay, and I think he's a very different player to Nunes. But he's definitely like a guy that does a lot. I don't think Nunes is that number 9 that runs in behind Bosch, but I think that Cody Gakpo's got that little bit of composure and adaptability that is, I think he's a really good player for Liverpool to have, because there's certain games, but actually Gakpo might be more suited to it than, of course, Nunes. So yeah, they were my 3 standout players: Harvey Elliott, Quansah, and Gakpo. And I think Quansah, just his age and his lack of experience, was particularly impressive. I know it's Lask, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And Liverpool, top of the group, they won the game. They won the game with ease. I think Harvey Elliott was absolutely everywhere. He looked a lot more mature in the ball, and I thought his decision-making was quite good. I thought he looked very mature. And I think that him and Gravenberch looked like they had a good partnership. Obviously, Szoboszlai is like Liverpool's best midfielder, but I did think that Gravenberch and Harvey Elliott complemented each other well. Some people, I think, were saying that Gravenberch wasn't at his best. I don't think Gravenberch is at his best. He's not 100%. I watched this guy at Ajax. I watched so much of Ajax in those final 2 months once I found out Man United were getting Ten Hag, and Gravenberch was quality. He was like Gravenberch and Bellingham. They were the future. And we haven't seen the best of Gravenberch, but we've seen a guy that's been consistently 7s. And this guy can be an 8 and this guy can be a 9. And I think that is something that Liverpool fans should be excited for. As a big Ajax fan, Jurriën Timber and Gravenberch were 2 players that I really wanted United to get hold of when I was watching Ajax when Ten Hag first come in, and they were quality. And I think that Gravenberch, his ceiling is really high. I did a video on it, really, really high as well. I think first half, my standout player was Luis Diaz. Obviously, he had a very difficult few weeks, but he's always good, Diaz. He's always solid. He couldn't have done more in the first half. He was scoring a header. It was very Sadio Mane-esque, I think. I was looking at Diaz, and I think his game's really evolved, scoring those kind of nose-diving headers and really sort of evolving this game. And it felt like Luis Diaz couldn't really do anything more. It felt like he could do everything. I can't lie. I think Diaz was quality. I think Gakpo was quality. I think Salah's just Salah. I feel like I don't talk about Salah and I don't talk about Trent, because they're always good. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes there's a point where you get to certain players where, oh, why haven't you brought up Salah? Why haven't you brought up Trent? But like, they are good players and they're consistent in it. And I think once you get to the point where you're consistently good, it becomes the norm. And I've always said this with Salah. I think he broke another record today or something like that. But I said, because Salah consistently puts up 30-goal seasons, people don't realise that he's got 20 goals in his last 19 games at Anfield because they're so used to him scoring. And I think Salah's made himself become underrated, because you see here 20 goals in his last 19 games at Anfield. Salah at Anfield is kind of just been this force. But I think it's sort of so used season on season for Salah to be putting up these crazy numbers that I feel like it makes him underrated, because it's like Salah's got 30 goals. You don't notice it. He always gets 30 goals. Rashford gets 30 goals. We're like, boom, Rashford, Ballon d'Or. And I'm one of those people that's hyping up Rashford. He gets 30 goals and saying Ballon d'Or. But yeah, Salah was just Salah again today. He's consistent. And I think the thing about Salah is, I think when he retires, people will appreciate how good he is, because to hit those numbers, because everyone says stat pad with players like Salah and Bruno Fernandes. People say stat pad, but to hit those numbers consistently, season on season, you can't just be a bad stat padding player to do that. You have to be a good player as well. But all in all, if I was to round up the game, I thought Gakpo was great. I would like to see Gakpo on the left. I still think Gakpo's at best on the left. I'd like to see Gakpo, Nunes and Salah maybe tried, but then I don't know if they're all too inverted to work. Luis Diaz was very, very good. His dribbling and pace was really causing problems. Tsimikas looked right. Tsimikas is one of those players. He's not Robertson, but he was he's been quite consistent. Quansah was like a Virgil van Dijk regen. Kelleher looked quite good. Gravenberch was solid. I think Konate got outshined by Quansah. I don't think Konate was poor, but he definitely got outshined by Quansah. Gomez as a right back looked fine. I think it'll be interesting. I think in the smaller games where Liverpool have more possession, maybe you play Gomez right back and actually put Trent in the midfield. But I think Trent's a right back. But in those games where Liverpool are going to have possession to create, that would be quite interesting as well. But I have to say, I think Endo will probably come out of that the most underrated player, because I think he's been a bit hit and miss for Liverpool, but he's a natural DM. And I think when Liverpool had that natural DM, it really helped the likes of Harvey Elliott and Gravenberch. And I think what Endo did is he was quite composed with his passing, but also he was there to kind of protect the back four and give them that. And I think as a defensive midfielder, I think Endo is better, but I think McAllister's a better player than Endo, but Endo is more suited to that role. And I think McAllister's not been bad, but I think what Liverpool really need is that DM. And I think Endo's decent, but he's a Milner replacement. They needed that for being a replacement. But all in all, that is my review on Liverpool 4-0 Lask. Hopefully Liverpool do lose at the weekend. Hopefully Liverpool get battered by Man United when we come to Anfield in 2 weeks. You know, it's about time we win at Anfield. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.